What's going on? It's your boy Sermon at Sermon's Domain on Twitter. Another category for, an end of the year list that I thought wasn't going to change in the next 2 weeks is most underappreciated artists of 2015. I felt like I had to use the word underappreciated because I didn't want to use underrated. Underrated, I think, is a term that should be held to like a higher prestige. I feel like Immortal Technique is underrated because he has a universal message that a lot of people don't get to hear for whatever reason. Whether it's just he's not projected on the radio enough, or he just doesn't have the widespread, I guess. But he still has a very strong fan base. Not to take away from that, but he definitely should be at a higher plateau, I feel. And that's where I look at like underrated, somebody that's important to hip hop. But I feel like these artists right here, they're underappreciated. And the first one I wanted to name off was RJ. He signed to DJ Mustard's 10 Summers label. At the top of the year, he put out Rich Off Mackin' with Royce the Choice, a fellow Seattle MC. Fellow to me, not to RJ. RJ is from California, LA, and then he dropped his mixtape. I think it's called OMIMO2. I can't remember the acronym. It's a long acronym, and I've been listening to both of those projects consistently throughout the year. I feel like RJ has like a very club friendly sound, but he's also a bit lyrical with it. So it's not just like some club music. You can listen to this in your household and dance along to it, and still get something out of the lyrics. He's a bit ratchet. He's a little bit gutter, and I think that's why I liked him a lot, and I want to see him do a lot more in 2016. Not just like putting out music, but being elevated to a level where more people are appreciative of him, and more people know who he is, and he kind of has like a hit. Because I feel like he's definitely close to like coming up with some kind of record that will be a hit. He's definitely shown that he can have that potential on the two mixtapes. And my next choice, and I'm gonna group these next two people together because they're stepbrothers, Don Trip and Starlito. Don Trip put out one of my top 5 albums of the year with Godspeed. I was not expecting it, but I feel like he really delivered with his first retail project. I bought it, $7.99. I've raved about it constantly, and it just had this level of emotion. Like when you think of Don Trip, I know a lot of people might think of like his mixtapes and being a double XL freshman. And at the time, those mixtapes were kind of generic. They were just kind of there. He had these punchlines that were just awful, and he would use them all the time. I'm killing shit. I'm a fly guy. Uh, Something about I forgot the lyric. Hold on, let me grab it real quick because I know I have it. He said, "I'm fresh to death. I'm a fly guy, killing more shit than a drive-by." Not a bad punchline, but it's also not great. So that was Don Tripp in the past. Don Tripp now is a more well-developed artist. He's more emotional. He's more personal, and I think everybody should give Godspeed a chance. And I say Starlito because Starlito put out "I'm Moving to Houston," his only album this year, and it keeps growing on me. I'm not fully done digesting it by any means, and I'm still listening to his last one, Black Sheep Don't Grin. That tells you something about Starlito. Starlito has like he makes, I don't want to say timeless, but that's the word that's coming to me. He makes timeless music. I think I've been listening to several of his projects that dropped, a couple years ago. I've listened to, Cold Turkey, Fried Turkey, I think was the sequel. I still listen to those like they came out yesterday. So those two artists. Going back to the West Coast, we got TFly. TFly put out his debut album Star February, and I feel like Epic Records did not promote it at all. I don't even know what the sales were. I feel like the sales of it were low. Like, I don't know if this is true or not, but I think I read something where if it's like under 5,000 copies, it doesn't show up on SoundScan. Or maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's just I couldn't find the numbers. So I was like, okay, it doesn't. Whenever you can't find the numbers for something, that seems like it's a bad. It's bad. So I don't know how much TFly's debut album sold, but I think it was underappreciated. Then he dropped Annie Are You Okay 4 in the summer. Another thing, I just feel like TFly had some hits on there. He had the record with Chris Brown, Blue Lipstick, that definitely could have been bigger. He had 24 Hours with 2 Chainz, which, was kind of heating up at the time, but ultimately didn't go anywhere. So I've always felt like TFly was very talented, dating back to the first project I heard from him, which was Fireworks in 2013. So I want to see him more appreciated. I think he's dope. Another one going to Jersey, which is weird because he's a veteran. Redman. Redman put out Mudface in November, and while it's not the best album of the year, it's definitely one of those surprisingly amazing albums of the year. One of those albums that you listen to because of who it is, but you're not expecting a whole lot, and then boom, you just get hit with all this amazing stuff. Redman is a really fun lyricist. He's creative, and the project is pretty much just like a prequel to his Muddy Waters 2, but at the same time, it still sounds good from start to finish. I listened to it on the plane going to New York and coming back from New York. I liked it. Another artist I want to highlight is Skizzy Mars. Skizzy is somebody who has a fan base. I believe he's signed to Atlantic Records. He's putting out his debut album in January. And he has, like I said, he has a fan base, but he's not respected on, like the huge hip hop front. He's like one of those artists that just kind of flies under the radar, but he's still a big name. He's still a big deal. You don't really see Skizzy Mars pop up on all the popular blogs. I don't see him being talked about much on my Twitter timeline. So I looked at him as unappreciated. He had the Red Balloon project earlier this year. Really solid EP. So I wanted to throw his name out there. And lastly, I want to throw out Charles Hamilton. Charles Hamilton just put out his Black Box EP. But I feel like even before that, he was kind of underappreciated. He was trying to make this comeback. And it got people talking, but it was only talking for, so long. And then people kind of just moved on to the next thing. I don't know how many people are actually talking about this EP on my timeline or, on, social media in general. But I really feel like Charles Hamilton is one of those artists that's going to be big in 2016. I think he has that potential, like I said in my review. So I wanted to also throw him in there. And we can essentially keep going all day about, the underappreciated artists of 2015. These are just the ones that came to mind when I was thinking about it. But there's so many others that you can throw out there. I would love to hear yours. Who are some of the most underappreciated artists that you heard in 2015? Let me know in the comment section below, and like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Share the video. Follow me on Twitter at Sermons Domain. As always, thank you for your time. I appreciate you for watching. Go check out my favorite hip hop books of 2015 video as well. I'll put a link in the description section. And until next time, peace.